Hi, I'm Sali Stevanja and I'm a proud breast cancer survivor. So the launch of I Touch Myself project on April 21 is incredibly close to my heart, and the reason for that being is because it actually is the 5-year anniversary that I complete my treatment in regards to my remission. And so it is the day that I'm proud to say that I will be cancer-free officially. And so this project definitely holds an incredible place in my heart. I think for myself, being a breast cancer survivor and being diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer nearly 5 years ago, it's hard to put into words, but I feel as though, there's a loss of emphasis on the importance of prevention of the disease. And so when this opportunity came up, I thought to myself, it is the perfect thing to be aligned with. It's not just about finding a cure, but it really is about preventing it from happening in the first place. I know when I was diagnosed, and I obviously elected to have for me, life-saving surgery of a double mastectomy, I didn't have any information around me, so it was incredibly daunting and very confronting to consider having that surgery. At the same token, I knew it was my only choice because I've got a child and I want to make sure I'm around to see him grow up into a young man. And so back then, it was all about having a double mastectomy, and there wasn't much in regards to reconstruction. Whereas for me, I really do want to expose myself and embrace the surgery and the reconstruction that I have, so that I can hopefully empower other women to consider the surgery and feel comfortable and confident with it, as opposed to feeling frightened and almost neglecting the prevention part of the process because they're so scared of what it is. I actually discovered a lump in my breast literally just by noticing that I had a pain. And at that time, it was when they were saying if it's 5-cent piece or if there's pain, then, more than likely it's a cyst and it's nothing to worry about. Even still, I went and saw my doctor, but given the fact that I have zero family history of any cancer, and given my age at the time, being 26 actually at the time, they put it down to a cyst. They had me come and do ultrasounds every 3 months. And it was quite persistent, but there weren't many changes, and it still remained incredibly painful. But every 3 months that I had my ultrasound, my results would come in and say inconclusive, inconclusive, inconclusive. And given, again, my history, the doctors just ruled it out and said, look, it's a cyst, it's nothing to worry about. And at that time, I was young and I was invincible, and, I myself was not going to worry about something that my doctors didn't worry about. So I went about life and, would do all the things that a normal 26-year-old would do. It was then that a year later, I went overseas for my very first trip to America and London, and I started to sense that something wasn't right. The lump was still present and it was still increasingly painful. And it was then that I also started to notice my energy levels were just completely trashed. And it was to a point where in London I had slept 5 days straight and I couldn't get myself out of bed. I was in the shower one morning in London, and it was then that I knew that something was seriously wrong. I was having a shower and I was playing with the faucets, and I was turning on to freezing cold, really hot, freezing cold, really hot. And I still remember it so vividly in my mind, where one breast was reactive and the other one was completely dormant. And when I had to take a closer look, I noticed the dimpling effect that had already commenced on my breast. So, as soon as I had flown back to Australia, I literally went straight into my GP's office, took my top off, and from the look on his face, I knew then that there was something seriously wrong. He sent me for an emergency ultrasound and mammogram, and I remember waiting 4 hours for my results in the waiting room. And at that time, I had no idea what the word patience meant. I was always really energetic and had to have answers right here, right now. But for that 4 hours, I remember sitting in that room with a sense of peace because I already knew what was coming. And so I received my report, and there was a big note on the bag, and it said, do not give report to patient, fax instantly to St. Vincent's. Give scans, but do not include, send over immediately to doctor. So I sat in my car and I opened up the x-rays anyway, and I looked inside and it had this report. And the first thing I noticed was findings are consistent with carcinoma of the right breast. And at that stage I thought, what the hell is carcinoma? So I rushed home and I actually Googled carcinoma of the right breast. And I knew then and there that for every decision that I made, that it was going to be for my life. It wasn't a matter of whether or not I lost my hair and I wasn't going to fit in with the girls. It wasn't a matter of, you know, if I had to do a double mastectomy, is somebody going to love me? All I knew is that I had to take whatever choices needed to be made in order to see my little boy grow into a young man. And that's exactly what I did. So I completed 7 months of chemotherapy. And whilst my girlfriends were experimenting with hairstyles and hair colours, I was walking around bald. And, you know, I really owned it. For a while I wore headscarves, and then after a period of time I thought, stuff that, you know, I'm going to embrace this and I'm going to walk around proud. Just because I have cancer doesn't mean that I'm any less of a woman than that, you know, somebody standing next to me. And so from that, at the end of my treatment, my doctor had said to me, Sally, you're cancer-free, you finished your treatment, you're all good. But on this incredible journey that I honestly call my hidden blessing, I realized the value and the power of listening to your body and actually understanding not just what goes on in regards to physical ailments, but even mentally and internally, when my body was telling me, Sally, something's not right. And I thank the journey that I've been on, because had I not listened to myself, had I not learned the value of understanding your body and respecting it enough to have a voice to stand up for, then I would not be here today. You know, I'm proud to say that as of April 21, when the I Touch Myself project launches, I will proudly be able to say that I am cancer-free.